going at it this weekend. Well, actually starting on Thursday with a game, and then again on Saturday it's basketball, and then Troy University baseball. Coach Mark Smart's team gets started for season 2020. And he's got a good ball club, they say, and hopefully we'll be able to catch them quite a bit this year. If you haven't bought your season tickets to Troy baseball, you need to. That is quite an enjoyable event. Hey, I bet you can remember a lot of baseball games you went to over the years, would you say?
Yeah, I've been to a few. Used to always get on the beach. I remember a lot when Coach Riddle was coaching. That was always a lot of fun. A lot of teams from up north were always coming down and playing out at Gulf Coast Community College, and then of course made a lot of trips to Jacksonville State and West Alabama and all the other teams in the Gulf South Conference days, I guess, growing up. And then of course I guess we went Division I in 91, 92. Of course
well, you know, following Coach Riddle around like following Bear Bryant around, didn't you think, hey, it wasn't a dime bit of difference in the two of them, is my book. They were both great men.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. That's what somebody was talking about on the radio the other day, that, you know, you look at Nick Saban, who's 68, and look at what kind of physical condition and health he has, and then look at Bear Bryant at 69. And
you know, he died at 69. Did you know that? And that's, to me, I wouldn't think that is old at all. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe. Coach Bryant looked like he was about 89 instead of 69.
Exactly right. A big fan of Coach Riddle's is listening to us today from Montgomery. Johnny Coker, good morning, my good friend. We love you, buddy. Johnny Coker, of course, born and raised in Troy, Alabama, and huge fan not only of the local high schools here in Troy, but Troy University. And Johnny's under the weather today. And Johnny, if I can be of any comfort to you this morning, my friend, I want to do so. I love you, and I always have. And there's no greater Trojan anywhere than Johnny Coker from Montgomery, Alabama. And of course, he came out of those Cokers over in Lowndes County. All you Lowndes County folks that are watching this morning, remember the Coker family and Joe Beal and of course Johnny. And Johnny Mike was a huge Charles Henderson and Troy High School a guy growing up, and he listens and watches our show daily, and we hope he's watching this morning. And again, Jesus Christ is looking down right on top of you, my friend, and it's no better feeling in the world to know that you're loved by so many people, my friend. And we're thinking about you on an hourly basis, and I hope you're enjoying your morning in Montgomery, and of course the family. Hope everybody's doing well. The Johnny Coker family, my good friend Johnny Coker, born and raised right here in Troy, Alabama. And man, I know this, he was a huge Troy guy, but also a big Alabama guy too. He loved University of Alabama, and huge fan. And he went to games all over the country, and married a pretty little girl from out in Utah, and just a great family in Montgomery. What's going on with you, my friend? Have you getting over your jet lag yet? You know what jet lag is now, don't you?
Yeah, man, I feel a little bit better. It just takes a few days. Anytime you travel all the way to Vegas and come back, we didn't get back till 5 p.m. And yesterday was pretty tough. It helped when, I finally got down the road and went to Sunnyside Grill and had a huge omelet at Sunnyside Grill, and that was great to kind of make me feel a little bit better.
The bad thing about it, though, is the Sunnyside Grill is closed on Tuesdays. I wonder why they do that.
I don't know. That's just the way it's always been up there. I mean, it's, one of those places that is open 6 days a week, and only is open till lunch, so they close every day at 2. But it's a great place to eat. I mean, the more I go down there and try different things. I mean, everything they have is really good.
Yeah.
They're not a sponsor of our show, but they're good friends of ours. We've known them for years. I was talking to Glenn, the owner, the other day, and I was trying to figure out when they opened, and he said in 1991. So that means I've been going there at least 29 years.
And you know, we're looking at a staunch Michigan guy, and then in Glenn, a huge Alabama guy.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because Glenn's huge Alabama, huge Pittsburgh fan, and then Nate grew up in Ohio but was a big Michigan fan. So
I know it. Well, Glenn, I believe. I mean, I think our guy from Michigan could. I think he could have played one sometime during his growing up days.
He's a big guy.
He sure is.
Down in Panama City Beach, though, so he moved down when he was, I think, a little bit older.
Mike, we're talking to Johnny Coker this morning. You know, you've heard your mama mention Coker's name many times over the years, don't you?
Oh yeah, I met him a few times over the years. I definitely knew Mom to mention his name several times.
Of course, Jacqueline and your mom and Coker, they always had a good time, went places, did things, and Johnny is listening to us and hopefully watching us this morning from Montgomery. And I want to say good morning again to you, Johnny Coker. This is Johnny Coker Day on our show, Mike. You know, we do this periodically, and we salute different people. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Johnny Coker Day in Troy, Alabama. We self-proclaim. And all you folks out there that know Johnny, give us a ring this morning. The great Johnny Coker Day on today in L.A. Across Facebook, over 1 billion people are watching this morning, Mike, or at least have stop and hit us for a second. They said today in L.A., they're thinking it's happening out in California, I'm afraid. But, of course, we are getting a lot of hits, and we are live on Facebook across the nation. They say there are 2 billion subscribers to Facebook. Do you agree with that?
I don't know. I mean, I see.
That's a lot of subscribers, isn't it?
I just see people I'm friends with. I don't know how many billion are out there. I know a lot of people do it. A lot of people do Instagram too. A lot of people are starting to do that more than they do Facebook.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to tell you what prize it is, but if you know Johnny Coker this morning, give us a ring. Also, if you know some good folks over in Lowndes County, Alabama, the Coker family. Mike, you remember that great tight end we had from Lowndes Academy that was a Coker? You remember that? Madison Coker, you remember him?
Yeah, I do remember him.
How good was he? He could play today, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking about Lowndes Academy tight ends. Where was Preston Goff?
Yeah, Preston. All right, let me tell you this. He
was from
look, let me tell you this. You give me Madison Coker in this corner here, and you take Preston Gofford over here, 6'5", 6'6", of course, played at Alabama, and he's the one that caught the pass against Penn State that they didn't give it to him. You know, it was terrible. The worst call maybe in college football history. I would put it down as the worst call in college history, where Preston Gothard caught a pass from your guy from Bruton, Alabama, Mike, for a touchdown.
No, I still think the worst call in football history is the tuck rule when Brady obviously fumbled against the Raiders and they called it a pass. I still think that's one of the worst plays I've ever seen in my life. If you're an Oakland Raiders fan.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you this.
That was one of the most brutal calls I've ever seen. That was clearly, it was in the snow. Gruden was coaching the Raiders, and Brady definitely fumbled that ball, and they said that since his arm was somehow going forward, that it was a pass, but that has to go down as one of the worst ever. Of course, the Patriots won't go on to win the Super Bowl.
Well, I'll tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't remember it very well, but when they caused Alabama to lose the game, Alabama had come back and Gothard had made the caught the touchdown pass very clearly in the end zone, and the guy named Guman or something. His name, the referee's name was Guman. His nephew played for the Penn State Nittany Lions, and he made the call. But Mike, you cried. Troy played that night, and we were getting in our seats over there, and doggone, you cried most of the ball game because you were so upset over that call. You weren't but about 7 or 8 years old, don't you agree?
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah, an update on Tua Tagovailoa. He's reached the 3-month mark, and apparently it's...
Wait a minute. It sort of rings. Mike. Tua Tagovailoa. How do you pronounce that last name?
Tua Tagovailoa. So
Tua Tagovailoa. La 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 la.
His fracture is healed, and his hip range of motion is good. The report also said that Tagovailoa could be cleared for football activities in about a month, which is great. That means possibly in late March and April he'll be able to throw for NFL scouts. It's still looking like Tua will probably be a top 5 pick. A lot of interest from the Miami Dolphins at number 5. So, wouldn't this be great if all this worked out and he ends up being a top 5, top 10 pick and making millions of dollars?
Well, he left Alabama. I don't care for him anymore, Mike. He left Alabama.
Yeah, he got to be. He did all he could at Alabama, and he's been injured 2 straight years. It's definitely a situation. He made the right move for his family. It would have been crazy if he would have come back and risked injured again.
We're doing one-liners this morning, Mike. What's your favorite run?
One thing about Tua, I mean, like I was listening to Feinbaum the other day, and he was mentioning, what would his legacy be at Alabama? Will he be, considered the greatest quarterback ever to play at Alabama? Will he be the most popular quarterback ever to play at Alabama? And, Feinbaum went on and on that he didn't think Tua will surpass Namath as far as, legendary status.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Quarterback, but he's got to be somewhere in that top 2 or 3.
Well, Kenny Stabler and Johnny Musso.
No, we're talking about quarterbacks.
Oh, okay.
You got to either be talking about. I mean, I would think Tua would have to be in the top 3. It's either going to be Tua, Namath, or Stabler, and then after that, it's probably going to be Jay Barker, AJ McCarron, somewhere around that range.
There's a guy named Stedman Shealy.
Yeah, but nobody talks about Shealy. Like
Jeff Rutledge. I'll buy you a cup of coffee if you tell me the nickname of Jeff's brother that started the year ahead of him.
Yeah, the Rooster.
The Rooster. What did the Rooster do one Saturday morning?
I don't know. I wouldn't lie, but...
Well, let me tell you what the Rooster did. He dropped straight back. Alabama comes out in a full wishbone set with wideouts to the right and to the left as Rooster Gary Rutledge bark signals. He drops back. He is dropping back. He is going to throw long. He's going to throw long. It is complete for a 80-yard touchdown on national TV, and Alabama leads Tennessee 7-0. And somebody that can tell me who that receiver was, I'll give you a free cup of coffee from our studio this morning. How about that?
Also, an interesting article I read yesterday, the officiating crew for the Alabama-Georgia game when Tua came in and, of course, threw the amazing, 2nd and 26, pass for the touchdown to win the game, Devontae Smith. Of course, that's a legendary play in Alabama history. But the officiating crew has come out, and they were a Big Ten crew, and have now said that they blew a call that would have been huge for Georgia in that game. Apparently, Georgia was up 13-0, and the crew admits now that they were wrong to call offsides on Georgia. Basically, Georgia blocks kick. It would have had like a touchdown against Alabama. I mean, they would have had the ball around the 5-yard line and probably would have gone up 20-0. And this official comes out years later after he's retired and says that they blew the call.
Oh, me.
This guy would come out and say that all these years later.
Yeah, you're right.
He said actually Alabama was in motion, and if anything, it should have been a false start penalty on Alabama, but it definitely went offside from Georgia.
Yeah, one of the biggest missed calls in football history, SEC football history, was Bear Bryant's Alabama team playing Georgia, and Georgia ran the what is it, where the guy catches it and pitches back to another guy coming around. What do you call that?
Reverse?
No, it's not a reverse. It's a hook and lateral. They threw a hook and lateral, Georgia did, and it was obvious that Hodgson, the tight end for Georgia, had both knees on the ground when he caught the ball, and he flipped it back to a guy named Kent Lawrence, and Kent Lawrence goes about 80 yards for a touchdown, and Georgia, coached by a legendary coach, Mike, another cup of coffee I'm going to give away this morning. I'll go ahead and tell you, Vince Dooley. And Georgia beat Alabama that Saturday afternoon, and that was one of the worst calls in SEC football history right there. But the biggest call, I think, is the Penn State call, because it would have been one of the biggest come-from-behind victories in college football history. I think Alabama was down something like 34-6 at one time and came back and should have won the ball game on that play. Of course, there's been bad calls on many other occasions, but those are two that I remember very well.
I was going to mention, this is interesting news. The new Pinson Valley head coach is going to be Sam Shea, the former Alabama DC safety. Of course, he played on the 92 National Championship team, played 8 years in the NFL. Interesting, first time as a head coach at any level. So Sam Shea, the Winona graduate, will be the new head coach of Pinson Valley. And of course, Pinson Valley has been pretty unbelievable under Patrick Nix.
Where is Nix going?
We already mentioned Patrick Nix is the new head coach of Central Phoenix City.
Oh, I did not know that, Mike.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show a couple times.
Gosh, I don't remember that. I must not have been around.
Well, we talked about he was
Central of PC.
How much closer he would be to his son.
Oh, yeah, you're right. And I'm sure you probably live in Auburn. It's not very, or Opelika, wherever.
Yeah, the job's still open in high school football. You have Baldwin County jobs open. That's a good job down in South Alabama. Bob Jones, great job up in Huntsville that's open. Carroll of Ozark's still open.
Yeah.
Central Phoenix City job has been filled by Patrick Nix. Jamie DeBose went to Georgia. Childersburg job's still open. Columbiana job.
Jamie DeBose went to where in Georgia? Valdosta LaGrange.
No, he went down to some school in Valdosta.
Did he really? Okay. That's one of the great programs of all time.
Dadeville job's still open. Greensboro job's
Dadeville job is open, okay.
McKenzie's open.
McKenzie, hey, I want that McKenzie job, Mike. And I want you to be in the box.
Montgomery Academy is still open. Amazing job there. Pike Liberal Arts, what's going on in Troy, Alabama?
Liberal Arts, Pike Liberal Arts, and I tell you what, they play basketball this week.
Don't these guys have to get in the all-season weight room and get ready?
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And I tell you what, I don't even see why in the world they're replacing my buddy there, Allen. Let me tell you this: 2 years ago, he won 10 ball games, and he has a terrible injury. And
seems like you could have got rid of a coach. You would have had somebody waiting to take it.
Well, and another thing too, though, he won 10 games 2 years ago, and really had a fine ball club. And then he lost most of those guys, and he had a bunch of real small guys. All the big guys had graduated, and he just had a lot of injuries. Well, I don't know why and he's an excellent teacher to go with being a coach. And I tell you, I think they ought to just go back and say, man, we made a mistake. We'll give you a 3-year contract.
The powers that be, they got some smart people running the show out of Pike.
Oh, they do. They do. I'm being a little bit facetious.
Shades Valley is without a coach.
But I'm being loyal to my friend. What?
Shades Valley is needing a coach. That job's open as well. Really good jobs open still. Trinity Montgomery's open as well.
Who is the principal of Shades Valley, Mike?
It was Juan Marsh, but he's now the principal at Robert E. Lee Hospital in Montgomery.
And you know what? They're 29-1 in basketball. Man, they must have some players, Mike.
Yeah, I met with a coach a few times at Shays Valley, and I'm not surprised he got moved on. He was the last guy in the world I ever thought was a football coach. Looked like a guy that would be on a surfboard every day instead of a football coach. I'm not surprised they're looking for a coach.
I got you.
But some pretty good jobs that are still open in high school football in the state of Alabama.
Yeah.
Actually, Bob Jones, of course, the legendary Frank Sadler used to coach at Bob Jones, and
Yeah.
I think Troy's head coach Chip Lindsey is a Bob Jones graduate.
I was with Chip last night at an alumni gathering, and we really had a great time, and he did a super job, talking to a very good group of people from Headland, in downtown Headland last night. And again, I told him, I said, Coach, you drove down here by yourself. You could have ridden with me. And he said, as part of being a Division I-A head football coach, you got to go where your alumni are, and it was a packed house there to hear him. And a lot of those questions that you had, Mike, about some of the things that went on at Troy, he answered pretty well last night at that meeting.
Just talking about what happened for us.
Yeah, lost a lot of players, but at the same time, they had a lot. He and the coaching staff had a lot to do with some of these guys leaving. They wanted them out. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a true Trojan, they don't want you. You know what I mean? They want you to be. And if you're not happy where you are, go find you another place. Like one of the places he kept saying. He said you can go to South Alabama.
I was looking, West Virginia. Former coach Neil Brown. Of course, he went 5-7 his first year. And I was looking at his breakdown as far as recruiting at West Virginia. His signing class ranked 36 in the country, which is not bad.
No, you're right.
And it was fourth in the Big 12. But the state breakdown, I was wondering how much they would recruit in the South. And he got five players out of the state of Florida, 3 players out of Georgia, 2 players out of Alabama, 2 players out of Maryland, 2 out of New Jersey, 2 out of Ohio. Only 2 players out of the state of the state of West Virginia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. And,
1 out of Kentucky, 1 out of Michigan, and 1 out of Missouri. So Neil Brown knows where the athletes are. He got 10 guys from Florida, Georgia, Alabama.
Excuse me. That's something. I don't know. I don't think it's a very big state anyway. They're too busy running moonshine in the state of West Virginia, Mike. Just being funny. Sorry about that.
I've driven up there a few times. It is beautiful up there.
It really is. Morgantown, of course, you and I have been to what at one time was a mecca for college football at one time, and that was Marshall. We are Marshall. And you and I have been at Marshall's, that stadium there. And, buddy, they took football serious for a long time at Marshall, didn't you think?
Yeah, that was one of the more fun trips I think we ever took. I mean, it was just a great football town.
Everywhere you went in that town, you saw a sign saying "Go Herd." And it's what we ought to have here in Troy: "Go Trojans," or "We are Troy."
We stayed at the Marriott downtown, which is a big hotel in Huntington. And I remember you woke up that morning, every single room outside the door had a game day Marshall paper.
That's right.
And you went down and, the lobby. I mean, it was just such a great atmosphere. Great little town. If you ran over the river that day or went for a jog, you'd be in Ohio.
Well, I'll tell you a little bit about history. Larry Blakeney turned down the Marshall job. He could have been Marshall's head coach, and thank goodness he came to Troy.
That was interesting to hear Coach Blaine talk all that time.
And, of course, the sad thing about...
I think he said he got off the plane, it was just too cold.
Yeah, it was. Of course, the sad thing about Marshall, they had that terrible airplane crash that killed the whole thing.
The great Bobby John Drinker was in the movie.
I didn't know that. I watched the movie.
He was a player on the plane in We Are Marshall and actually had a speaking role.
Exactly right. Well, with a few We Are Troy shouts going out throughout the crowd last night in downtown Headland, Alabama. And You know, Headland folks are great. There were 60 or 70 there last night, which is a pretty good crowd for a Monday night, and had great food and everything. And they have the best tailgate spot probably at Troy. They're on the edge of the alumni grounds, and you can almost see inside the stadium. It's by far the best tailgate area of any town in our general area.
Yeah, Headland's growing a lot, isn't it?
Oh man, you know, a lot of Dothans moving out to Headland. A lot of new subdivisions going up. It's beautiful stuff. It's a flat land, great farmland, Mike, that will be eventually taken over by houses.
Yeah, I get a lot of rain in Troy today. It says school delays.
We got some. I know we're supposed to be some heavy winds coming in here by 9 o'clock. You know, we've had a lot of rain. I'll tell you that. I looked at the. You know, I tell you, all you have to do to know if we've got a lot of rain is go down 231 to the river bridge, and buddy, that looked like a huge lake out there. You know, so much water we've had over the last week or so.
You talking the Conecuh River?
Yeah, the Conecuh River. Max Howell will be calling in just a few moments from Fulton, Mississippi, to give his opinion of things.
I thought Max always called on Wednesday.
Well, he called some on. Yeah, you're right. He called some on Wednesday and some on Tuesday. I think he told us he's gonna call in on Tuesday, but we'll wait and see. Of course, high school basketball.
They were talking about possible free agency and the fact that Tom Brady could be on the move, and people had mentioned that on the radio I was listening yesterday. It was interesting that Dak Prescott's asking for $38 million with the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott's did a lot better in pros than I thought, but I don't think he's worth $38 million.
I don't either.
And they talked about Brady possibly going to Dallas for a year.
Wouldn't that be a good? That would those Dallas people.
Amari Cooper and some of those players and that defense. I think the under is huge on Jason Garrett, but man, they might win a Super Bowl with Brady.
I tell you what, that town would go crazy with Brady. I tell you, I think that'd be a good choice. Says listen to this: Chargers quarterback Rivers will enter free agency after 16 seasons, and I like him. He's one of my favorite players, but Mike, he has not been productive.
He's 6 all-time in touchdowns.
I know it's hard to realize. It's hard to realize that, and like you said, he has
such a weird delivery. He just never seemed like a.
Yeah, it's like a shot put. It's sort of like a shot put, isn't it?
Yeah, he went to NC State, turned NC State around when he was a freshman. I mean, I remember, I was always shocked, that he came out of the state of Alabama, and amazing story. He has 9 kids. Apparently, he's left the San Diego area and has bought a home in Florida. I don't know if he's down here on 38. I think
he's on 38, Mike. You saw him at a restaurant not long ago, didn't you?
Yeah, but I'm just saying. It makes you wonder if he's going to call it quits or try to play one more year and try to break some more, records. Maybe.
Let me tell you something else about him. They say that
if he gets up in the top 4 all time in touchdown passes, I don't know how he could be a Hall of Famer.
Let me read into this a little bit. He's been in.
He's never done anything in the playoffs. Is the only problem.
Let me read into this right now. Rivers' is a 16-year career with the Chargers has come to an end. He's going to file free agency. Rivers was drafted 4th overall by the New York Giants in 2004. And the Giants had a young Eli Manning. I wonder why did they drafted. And
they were in the same draft.
Yeah. Okay. And his 224 consecutive regular season starts are second among most quarterbacks in the NFL. And
he's a big physical guy.
And his 123 wins are 9th. He is one of 6 quarterbacks to eclipse 50,000 career yardage. Name some of those guys, Mike. 50,000 yards guys. The 6 guys in front of him. Can you do that?
I would imagine it's
Brady, Favre, Manning. You're right. Drew Brees.
And maybe
Marino, exactly. That's where I would see it. And then number 6 would be Rivers. Of course, Rivers hails from Athens, Alabama, the home of the Gross boys that came here and played.
I was up at Decatur High School one day. They had a plaque of his dad at Decatur High School in the weight room too. I guess when he coached at Decatur.
But the problem is and of course he threw for 397 touchdowns. They say he is a bad dude. Have you ever heard anybody say he is a bad dude, that you don't come in there messing with him? They say he'll slug it out with anybody out there. They say he's mean as a snake. Have you ever seen him get mad?
I mean, I've seen him get emotional on the field, but he throws a lot of interceptions too.
Well, Kenny Stabler did that too. I used to think that Kenny Stabler was getting paid to throw some of those passes. But you know what? At the end of the game, Kenny Stabler was throwing for a touchdown to win the game, but don't get me wrong. He's one of my favorite players. Rivers is, and how Rivers ended up at North Carolina State.
I've never heard you talk about Rivers as one of your favorite players.
Well, I like Rivers and everything. My favorite player in the pros of all time has got to be Kenny Stabler. He was my favorite, and my favorite college player was probably Johnny Musso, the Italian stallion. Was a great one, number 22. My favorite coach was a guy named Paul Bryant, and he was pretty good. My favorite baseball coach was Chase Riddle. My favorite basketball coach was Don Maestri. We've been around. I tell you what, being a Troy fan, we've been around a lot of fun events and a lot of fun games and great people. And they tell me that this Troy team this year, when they open up the season this Friday night against Northern Kentucky, I want to say they're going to play 4 games. They're going to play 1 game on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and maybe 2 on Sunday. I'm not sure about Sunday.
Well, it's rained lately. I guess he could play on that all-surface field.
Yeah, that's the great thing about Troy. They told me the other day that over during the season, there's numerous telephone calls to Troy asking them if they could use their field, because their field was the high school field that these people own was way too wet to play. But Troy, you could still play on Troy, and Troy would be out of town. I think they've allowed several high schools to play there, if they were out of town and they needed to because of the rain.
Now, an interesting poll out, I was reading this earlier, it's the all-time leading rushers in Alabama history in the NFL. So basically these are guys that are Alabama, former players that made it to the NFL, and the top 10 rushing leaders all time. Who would you say has the most rushing yards as far as being a player at Alabama in the NFL?
Golly, I can't even hardly think of a running back much. Alexander.
That's right. Sean Alexander had 9,453 rushing yards.
Shawnee Alexander. What number do you wear?
Sean Alexander? You don't remember his number?
No, I'm going to let you know. I'm asking you for a cup of coffee. I know how you love a good cup of coffee.
He was number 37.
Yeah, 37.
And Alexander, this is pretty amazing, in his career in 2005, he won the NFL MVP award, which is the highest award you can win. He rushed for almost 1,900 yards with 27 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Then he signed a big contract after that. It never was the same.
There was, wasn't it?
But he only played from 2000 to 2008, so it's pretty big numbers there.
I tell you what, they say as far as common decency, they said he's one of the greatest pros ever.
But pretty amazing. Second is Mark Ingram. You don't even think about that. He's been in the league now since 2011 to 2019, rushed for over 1,000 yards again this season with the Baltimore Ravens. He has 7,025 rushing yards, and he'll probably play another 3 or 4 years. He'll probably get to 10,000 yards. And then after that, the gap is just a huge difference. Number 3 is somebody that could be listening this morning.
Tony Nathan.
He could be listening this morning in Ozark.
Oh, okay. Wilbur, wake up, Wilbur Jackson. Come on, wake up. We're talking about you.
So Wilbur Lamar Jackson played from 74 to 79 with the 49ers, and then Jackson played with the Redskins from 80 to 82, was on a Super Bowl team. He rushed for 3,852 yards in his career.
I tell you what, he's one of the fine men of all time. They say, of course, every team he was a part of was a better team because of him. You know, Sean Alexander, Mike, he had a coming out game. What game was that you can remember as a freshman?
Well, I mean, everybody remembers LSU.
LSU, did he gain 300 yards? Did he gain 300 yards in that game? How many?
291.
291 yards as a pure freshman for Alabama against LSU. At LSU, I want to say, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, a lot of them was long runs too.
Yeah. What was a huge carry? If you looked at him, what was just amazing about him?
His size.
Yeah, he had. All right, the only guy that I know that had bigger, stronger looking thighs than he had was our guy with the Houston Oilers, and his name was
Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell. And so, two of the all-time greats, Earl Campbell, of course, one of the all-time greats, and then, of course, Sean Alexander had huge legs. That's why they were so good.
Yeah, he was a great guy. I used to see him out in Tuscaloosa. He would always go out to the bars after games and stuff, but he never drank.
Yeah.
He was just out there wanting to hang out with the college students and stuff. And I had a buddy that became really good friends with him, and they were friends in college and stayed in touch when he was in the NFL. And he would go stay out in Seattle with him, Sean and his wife.
Yeah.
And go to games and stuff. Fourth on the list, this is all-time Alabama rushers in the NFL history.
Tony Nathan.
No, fourth is Derrick Henry. He's already at 3,000 yards.
Oh, me. Tony Nathan's got to be somewhere, Mike. Tony Nathan had a good career.
Derrick Henry led the league in rushing this year. Fifth is one of the more sadder cases of all time. He was great his first few years in the pros with the Green Bay Packers. Eddie Lacy.
Yeah, I know. What happened to Eddie?
2013 to 2017, and he's out of football. He rushed for 3,614.
Yeah, what happened to Eddie Lacy, Mike?
Got cut.
Yeah.
Not making anymore.
Well,
number 6 is Tony Nathan. Tony Nathan played from 79 to 87. The former Woodlawn standout played for the
Miami Dolphins. Yeah.
So, he's a guy that was kind of, could do it all, rushing and receiving. He actually had more receiving yards.
That's right. He played on some great Miami teams.
592 receiving yards. So
that is amazing. You're right. You're exactly right.
His rushing. Number 7 on the list is a guy that was one of my favorite players of all time. When he tore his ACL at Alabama, I probably cried because he was such a great player.
Perry Good. How about that?
No, his son plays for the Baltimore Ravens right now. It's Bobby Humphrey.
Bobby Humphrey. Okay, yeah.
But Humphrey only played from 1989 to 1992. Of course, he had substance abuse issues. Had basically played his way out of the league due to drugs.
His number was 26. You remember that? You remember they pushed him.
After that, the guy that was a part-time player at Alabama, played a lot, was a great player. Of course, he is known for the great kickoff return against Clemson, and is having a good career in the pros from 2016 to 2019. He finished with the Cardinals last year. Kenyon Drake, so he rushed for 2,175 yards in the pros.
Well, he's still in the pros, isn't he?
Yeah, he got traded to Arizona and had a really good end of the season.
Now, what is his main characteristic?
Kenyon Drake can fly.
That's exactly right. This guy I don't know, he's got some kind of wavelength to my brain or something. You don't miss many of them. Now,
this guy I've never heard of. He played for the Bears from 47 to 52. Wonder if he played with Musso.
Well, 47 to when?
1947 to 52.
Now, Musso played in the 70s, Mike, late 60s and early 70s. Musso did. You're talking about...
not Musso. I'm talking about the orphan boy from Troy.
Oh, Bobby Marlowe. They mentioned him, did they?
This guy played for the Bears from 47 to 52. His name was George Gilyakinis.
Yeah, I don't know that. The orphan boy from Troy, though, did they have his stance?
And, he didn't play in the NFL, but this guy's last name is Gulyanicl.
Coffee.
Sorry, Alex.
He played for Alabama briefly in 1941 before being drafted in the U.S. Army.
Yeah. Is your mama and dad watching this morning?
He was the NFL's best punter twice, averaging 44.8 yards per punt.
Who is that?
The guy I'm trying to ask if you ever heard of, his name's George Gulyakinis.
I don't remember him. I remember.
10th on the list is Trent Richardson. Of course, he's out of football as well. He played from 2012.
What happened to him? I thought he was better than all those backs. He was really good.
Well, his rookie season, he rushed for 950 yards, so he's 10th all-time rushing player for Alabama in the pros.
Now let's look at Auburn. You talk about running backs. Whoa! Wait till we start telling you about those guys.
Everything about Auburn is unbelievable.
Well, let me ask this:
Let's go see Gus Malzahn today.
Yeah, we're gonna change over. We're gonna go over and we're gonna meet him at the Waffle House, and we're gonna see if we can change over. Is that right? They're getting a jersey, Auburn jersey. They're gonna put Amos. They're gonna put M. Amos on both of them, but yours is gonna be M. Amos Jr. Is that right?
We'll basically just be joining the rest of our family.
All right. Tell us who the leading rusher in Auburn history and some of the great running backs of all time came out of there.
This is the leading rusher all time in the NFL that graduated from Auburn.
Oh boy, leading rusher.
That's what Alabama was. That was while we talked about Alabama, Sean Alexander was the top of the list. All right, the greatest rusher all time in the NFL that's an Auburn graduate is Stephen Davis.
Stephen Davis, that's right. Out of
8,000 yards, Washington Redskins from '96 to 2002.
He was out of what town in South Carolina was he out of?
Yeah, I know he's from South Carolina, but I don't remember what town.
We've got real good friends that live there. The Margene and Richard Petty. What? Spartanburg. You're right. Out of Spartanburg. All right.
Then after that, you had a guy that was a phenomenal player for Cincinnati Bengals. He also played for the Chargers, played for the Browns, played for the Buccaneers. He played 11 years in the league. His name was James Brooks.
Very good. And go ahead.
He was right under 8,000 yards in the pros. Then this guy played for the Falcons. He, I guess, was injured. Also, he played during the strike years as well. He had 6,000 yards rushing in the NFL, William Andrews.
And he played in the same backfield with Brooks, and there's another one coming up. Go ahead.
Then number 4 is a name you forget at Auburn, which he was phenomenal. And had a good pro career, Rudy Johnson. Rushed for
Rudy Johnson rushed for how many?
6,000.
Are you serious? Played with the Cincinnati Bengals?
Yeah, and then you had this guy that played with Cadillac Williams. He played in the pros for a long time, played 11 years in the pros. Ronnie Brown rushed for 5,391 yards.
And, I didn't realize that Ronnie Brown rushed for that many. Let me ask this, all right? Tell us the next one.
Next one is a guy you talk about a lot, another great player. Rushed for 5,356 yards at all. He's an Auburn grad, played for the Bills, San Francisco and Miami Dolphins, and the Colts is a guy named Joe Cribbs.
Yep, Joe Cribbs. And, of course, Joe Cribbs, James Brooks, William Andrews played in the same backfield at Auburn. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I realized that...
the same backfield.
The Birmingham Stallions. Cribbs played for the Birmingham Stallions for 2 years, too.
Yeah. Guess what little town that he came from? And Alabama had a great player that came out of there too.
Yeah, we talked about it before. Was he from Summerton?
No, not Summerton. Bomb. You got 2 more tries. Sulligent. He came out of Sulligent, Alabama. And what Alabama great, and I thought he was a great player at Alabama. Tell us who that guy was, Mike, from Summerton. No, from Sullivan.
I don't remember. Is that where Paul Ott Caruth was from?
You're exactly right. Paul Ott Caruth.
One day, though, Paul Ott Caruth was actually from somewhere else.
Well, his daddy was a coach over in Mississippi, but he also coached over in at Sullivan, so he lived there for a while. That's the reason.
This guy's name is shocking to me. He played one season at Auburn, then transferred to a small school in Louisiana. His name was Brandon Jacobs.
That was that big back, Mike. He was the big back that played with the Giants.
He rushed for 5,094 yards. Then after that,
Don't get off on him yet. He was 6'5". He was a giant, and you're right. He was a big power back.
He's the only guy that was bigger than Derrick Henry that I know of.
Yeah, you're right.
This guy plays quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. It's pretty amazing. Cam Newton's almost rushed for 5,000 yards in the NFL.
You know what? And people think his career is over with, but let me tell you, all he'd do was beat you. He would beat you. Man, I tell you, he was a good football player.
Then after that, you had the great Cadillac Carnell Williams. He rushed for 4,038 yards.
Now, let me ask you this. This would be a good debate here. Who is the best player, Cadillac Williams or Ronnie Brown? They play in the same backfield.
I mean, Ronnie Brown put up bigger numbers in the pros.
I know, but who is the best player? Now, you remember Cadillac breaking clean against Alabama. Do you remember that first play from scrimmage? Do you remember that?
Yeah, that was Saban's first year.
And what did he do? What did Cadillac do?
He went about 78 yards.
He broke clean, didn't he? Broke clean and outran everybody, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
First play from scrimmage at Auburn, I want to say. Is that right? He goes 80 yards for a touchdown.
And then the last guy, of course, everybody knows the last guy, and, always will wonder what if he wouldn't have been injured. Denson Bo Jackson rushed for almost 2,800 yards in the NFL. Of course, we know what happened on that horrible tackle that pretty much destroyed his hip, and he never was the same again in football or baseball.
He was if he was not the fastest player to ever play in the NFL, he's probably one of the top 5 fastest players ever to play in the NFL. He ran 4.19, is that right, in the 40? Everybody people brag all the time about running 4.5 and 4.4.
Everybody that clocked that time, there's all kinds of different debates on if that was legit or not.
The only guy faster than him was Ronaldo Kincaid Pennington. You ever heard that name? Ronaldo Kincaid Pennington, as a Pee-wee player, ran 4.22. As a Pee-wee player, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, you talk about a great player, high school football player, Ronaldo Kincaid Pennington. Could outrun them all, except for Bo, Mike. Ronaldo Kincaid Pennington in college was, when he played at Auburn, he was the fastest man on the team, ran 4.21. And but Bo ran 4.19.
Only guy I know that runs close to Bo is Ruggs, and Alabama runs a 4.23, they say.
Yeah. Is that Mary Prater this morning? Good morning, Mary Prater. How you doing? Say hello to Mikey.
I love you.
How you doing? I miss seeing you, Mary Prater. Tell everybody hello this morning.
I love you, Mikey.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie. Hey, where's Millie? Where's she?
She's the one that just said she loved you.
Oh, well, I couldn't. I didn't. I can't figure them out if I can't see them. Where's Mary Prater? Where is she?
She was on the phone too.
Okay, sweet little girls that live in Northwest Florida.
Yeah, they're hard to handle early in the morning. They both woke us up at about 5 a.m. So.
Well, you're having fun, no question about it.
Maybe we can take a quick commercial break and I can put on a movie.
We will. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
If you've had an accident or just want a new look for your vehicle, come see us at Troy Paint and Body, where we do it right the first time. Our staff has more than 100 years combined experience and can handle repairs and paint work on any make or model. We also offer a lifetime guarantee as long as you own your vehicle. Our 24-hour towing service means we're here when you need us. Troy Paint and Body, where we may meet by accident, but you'll be glad we did. So come see us at Troy Paint and Body, located on South Brundage Street in Troy beside the post office.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
The lot is full of new 2019 model vehicles, and they are priced to sell at Bill Jackson Chevrolet Buick GMC. New 2019 Chevrolet Silverados, new 2019 Buick Encores, and new 2019 GMC Yukons, and more. The 2020 models are rolling in. Check out our inventory. You can be sure to find the right vehicle for you at the right price for you. Shop us on 231 North Troy or online 24/7 at BillJacksonAuto.com. Bill Jackson, the name you've trusted for over 30 years.
I've been working for this my whole life. The chance to relax on the open water. With my financial institution, Max, my Achieve checking account earns dividends. So I'm free to do what I love.
Troy Cable Security makes it easy to stay aware and stay in control of your home wherever you are. User-friendly interface allows easy navigation for lights, locks thermostat, video, and garage doors. Never worry about leaving your garage door open or the front door unlocked. Your mobile app can send alerts to your phone for alarm and no alarm events. Know when your children arrive home from school with video response. Make sure your home is powered by Troy Cable Security for ultimate access, awareness, and protection.
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Health Actions Physical Therapy. And I tell you, they're the best in town, no question about it. And if you need physical therapy, they're located on the bypass right here in Troy, and we appreciate them. Also, our good friends at Dixieland Dental, and also our very good friends at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram Trucks on the bypass. And I was about to see Jason, Mike, all the Yeti coolers, and I don't know how many. He's gone through about 1,000 since he's been in Troy, and I'm not exaggerating. Every time he sells a new or used car or truck, you get a Yeti cooler to go with it, a $300 value. And Mike, he's down to all white. He had all kinds of. I went in on a Thursday, and he had a great selection. I went in yesterday, and he didn't have about 3 or 4 left. So we appreciate him so very much being a part of our show, Jason Gregory and. Chrissy,
he's a guy that's been extremely involved in the community since he's moved to Troy.
He really has. He really has. He's a great guy. Want to mention Chrissy Pinker this morning, and Chrissy, you did it again. I mean, your wonderful Mardi Gras ball was just as nice as you can find anywhere. I started talking to some people that say you won't find a better Mardi Gras party anywhere than that one right there. And the food was fabulous. And like I said, Mike, they got a guy walking around, or 2 or 3 guys walking around, and had fried oysters. And what you do, you pick up the fork and dip it in the horseradish, and it was wonderful. Wonderful. Mike Amos is on the other line. We got a lot of basketball coming up, and the outstanding team from Charles Henderson High School is getting ready for the 5A championships, and they'll be playing this week in Montgomery, and we're going to take a look at that in just a few moments.
Henderson girls undefeated?
No, they show them undefeated, and that's what I'm thinking. They're undefeated in Class 5A. They're the Southeast region. It's Brubaker Tech 13-4 against Charles Henderson of Troy, 24-all. 24-all. People know what all means, don't they? Like And of course that's going on. That game will be played on.
It's amazing. They lost Davenport and Tyler, and they're undefeated.
Oh yeah, they might be better. They might be actually a better team. They've got another big girl that signed with Troy.
It's one of those type of things when you have a dominant scorer. That she was 6'4", and it might have been a situation where they thought they had to give her the ball too much. Maybe it opens more of the court. For other players to shoot threes and drive to the basket more. I mean, I know, the coach's daughter, Jones' girl that's going to Belmont's probably one of the best guards that's come out of Charles Henderson ever.
I've said this, and people laugh at me and say, you mentioned something the other day that this girl's the best free throw shooter in Troy. I think I might put her up against anybody at Troy University at the free throw line.
The Moore girl is 6'3", and she's going to Troy.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, at the free throw line, this girl might be the best free throw shooter in town, boy or girl, Troy University. How about that?
Yeah, she is really good.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen her miss a free throw, and of course we're going to be doing that ball game down the line there.
Don't you wish more of these kids would have stayed more local? Davenport's at Rutgers, and then the Jones girls will be going to Belmont. That's a long drive for her mom to go see her games. That's 5 hours.
No question about it. Charles Henderson boys are on tap. 17 and 13 at Tallahassee. Tallahassee's 26-4. Charles Henderson had a good season. Coach Branson, Mike, is an excellent coach at Charles Henderson in his second year, and he's got them playing pretty well in class.
I've heard him do color sometimes on Troy basketball games on TV. He does a good job doing that, too.
Oh, yeah. I tell you, you're right. He's very good at it, and we appreciate him being a strong supporter of Troy University, his alma mater.
It's strange to watch Troy basketball this year. I watched them almost win at Texas A&M, and Texas A&M started to play really well in the SEC. And then, you watch them beat Georgia State twice, who's probably the top team in the Sun Belt. And then, they go home, and they just can't win at home.
Yeah, you're right.
If they could just, won a few more home games, I think in the situation they're in now, they're going to have a hard time even getting into the conference tournament. Of course, the girls, Coach Rigby's got her best team ever. They're, 18-3?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Of course, another big game.
Don't you think a bigger school is going to have to come after her soon? I mean, she's been to 2 NCAA tournaments. She's won 20 games, I think, 4 or 5 times now. I mean, her record is just incredible at Troy.
We are very fortunate to have her, no question.
If they come and get her, that means you follow is looking for a new head coach as well.
I tell you what, and he's a good one too, no question about it. I want to mention some other teams in the tournament. Let's take a look at them. This is in boys tournaments, and these are in our general area. Of course, Charles Henderson, as we mentioned, their boys play Tallahassee at Tallahassee 26-4. And that game is coming up. Let's see. They're not giving any clear dates here, but they'll be coming up soon, and we'll let you know about it. Other games of interest in this general area that we'll be watching closely in the first rounds of the public school playoffs in the southeast region. Goshen 9-13. This is boys basketball at Geneva County 24-5. So that's going to be a tough one for Goshen, but they did make the playoffs. Zion Chapel 15-14 will host Daleville 17-10. And Mike, I found out a little information on this outstanding running back from Daleville who shattered the state record in rushing yardage this year. They felt like this kid that they recruited out of Atlanta that won the state championship in Atlanta, by getting him, they picked him over the running back from Daleville. And right now, the kid from Daleville, it shows that he's committed to Georgia Southern, but I don't believe he has signed with anybody yet. So we don't know for sure about that.
It's weird, Brandon Burks, we were talking about the XFL, and then, he played in the Canadian Football Leagues and got cut, I think, at the last minute, and almost made the Packers. I wonder if he'll play in the XFL now instead of the Canadian Football League. A lot of people say the XFL has got a lot more talent because you've got former pro players playing in the XFL. I wonder if he'll try to do that because, he's still a pretty young guy. He's unavailable.
Yeah, you're right. He was a good player, too, no question. I want to mention a few other games of interest. Like we said, Zion Chapel and Goshen made the playoffs in the Southeast region. Looking on down the list, Brantley 18-5 against Georgiana 21-7. Now that's in the Southeast region, and that's boys basketball. Also taking a look at some other teams down the stretch here. Now in girls basketball, there's a lot of local teams there. Greenville is playing Valley, and Charles Simpson, as I mentioned, will host Brewberry Tech. These games are being played in Montgomery at the big basketball facility there at Crampton Bowl. Other games that might interest you that some local teams would be involved in. Geneva's playing Houston Academy. That should be a good one. Also, you've got Strawn against Providence. This is state playoff games. And also in Southeast region, you've got another local team, Goshen High School's girls. Listen to this, they're 23 and they play at Geneva County 23-3. Sampson hosts Cottonwood. Sampson's always good girls basketball. They're 20-6. GW Long's 23-5. Look out for them in the Southeast region. And another Southeast region game, Pitts Elba 20-7. This is could be a good one. And against Pleasant Home, Kinston plays Georgiana in girls basketball. And that's takes a look now. Looking at the 7A teams, and Mike, I want you to tell us a little bit about these guys. But of course, there's some real good basketball teams in this league here. But in the Southeast region, you've got Leah Montgomery 29-1, Central Phoenix City 12-12, and then you got Auburn 18-10, and Jeff Davis 15-15. I don't think Lee's going to have any trouble. Do you moving on up? What do you think?
I don't think so. It's kind of crazy after Posey retired and Jeff Davis, they hired the former female coach to be the boys coach.
Did they really?
Yeah, that was legendary female coach. She won.
I remember her. Yeah.
2 or 3 state championships with Jeff Davis, and she had left Jeff Davis and went to Park Crossing, and that's who they got to take Posey's place. I don't know where Posey is. I know he retired. I don't know if he's like somewhere, coaching at a private school.
Of course, his daddy was the legendary Neil Posey that coached so many games over the years against Troy. And
that's the first time I can ever remember that happening in Alabama high school history, that the boys team was coached by a lady. So I guess she's done all right there.
Mountain Brook in the Northwest region, you've seen this bunch play. They're 29-2. And Mike, tell us about Mountain Brook's coach and the success that he has over the years.
He's a great player at Birmingham Southern under Dwayne Rebo, and then Coach Rebo.
Tell him his name first.
Bucky McMillan.
Bucky McMillan.
He's also placed, I think, 4 times in the World Series of Poker.
Oh, really?
Won about $300,000 playing poker.
Wait a minute now. Can you back that up now? You're accusing this. You're accused of this high school basketball coach as being a gambler.
Anybody types in Bucky McMillan and World Series of Poker, you'll see his name pop up. But he's a guy that, let's be honest, he recruits 2 or 3 really good players from around that Birmingham area to go play with the kids that live there, and he's done a phenomenal job. He got Pinson Valley's best player.
And let me tell you something about Mountain Brook.
He got a couple other of the best players around midfield, I think, is on the roster now. So, I mean, everybody wants to come play for him because he's such a winner.
And see what he does too.
He plays 40 minutes of hell.
That's what I was saying. He pressures you like the old UCLA teams, that full court pressure, and you can't get the ball down court. I mean, they just drive these folks crazy. I mean, they can't get the ball down court against them.
Yeah, and all his guys can just shoot lights out from three.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you who they're playing. Mountain Brooks, 29-2 against Florence, 17-12. They play at 1 p.m. on Thursday, and that's out of the Northwest region. Now, let me say something here. The regions have Jacksonville State, believe it or not, is one of the regions. The other region is out of
Wallace-Hansville.
Wallace of Hansville is a junior college gym, a real nice facility.
Junior college gym that holds about 5,000.
I know it. And then the Southeast region, who's hosting it, Mike?
I guess that's the Acadome in Montgomery.
Yeah, that's right. Garrett Coliseum, Mike, is doing it. The Southeast, they renovated Garrett Coliseum, and it's in the Southeast region. The Northwest region, as you mentioned, was Wallace State of Hansville. And then Northeast is Jacksonville State. And there's one more.
Down south, are they playing in at
Southwest is the Acadome. Can you believe those kids in Southwest Alabama have to come all the way to Montgomery to play? Wow. But Troy did not want to host one of those regions, and they've got a fabulous.
I think they dealt with crowd situations.
And Mike, you worked at
Troy's facility is so nice now. I don't think they want it to be ruined.
Exactly, Mike. Explain that to them. Now, you worked many a final regional tournament, and they would pack into Troy's Sartain Hall. They would just pack in there, and
you'd have students standing on the chairs
and jumping up and down. How many chairs were busted after one of those things? Can you remember that?
Windows were busted, chairs were busted.
Oh yeah, and those chairback seats in the old Sartain Hall would just practically, and then they had them coming through the bathroom windows to try to get in the gym.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
But I don't blame Troy for not doing it because it is more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, Troy, it's a good recruiting tool, but Troy does so many other good things to recruit students. So, I mean, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
You know, I think more of these coaches go watch AAU basketball than they do high school. What do you think?
Say what?
You know, a lot of them go watch AAU basketball, summer leagues and all that, you know. Taking a look at some other 7A basketball, as we mentioned, Mountain Brook is in, Oak Mountain 20-8 is in. Against Huntsville, listen to this. This can't be true. In the Northeast region, you've got in the boys, Oak Mountain 20-8 playing Huntsville High School 4-26. Something's got to be wrong there.
That is extreme.
Isn't that crazy? How can it, unless there was a forfeit or something like that?
It makes you think somebody had to forfeit out. Somebody illegal.
Yeah. Listen to this. Now, this is what's impressive about here. Hoover, 22-20. That means they played 42 games. Can you believe that? That's a lot of basketball games. Against Sparkman, 21-11.
That's a typo.
I don't know. That's a lot of basketball games, isn't it? I see a team over here, Foley, 30-2, but that's in girls basketball. But I was just going over some of these basketball.
Charles Henderson is definitely if you look at Charles Henderson High School, they're known for, the girls basketball program and baseball. I mean, it's kind of, they're really turned into a girls basketball school.
They really have.
I don't know what kind of attendance. I don't know if the girls draw more people than the boys, to be honest.
Now let me tell you another kid. They've got a sophomore at Charles Henderson that's 6'6" or 6'7" already, and he's a sophomore, Mike, and he's the real deal. So he's the real deal, Holyfield. In the Alabama Independent School.
The only problem with that is, hopefully he'll be able to stay at Troy, you know, and not go to a prep school. Hopefully he'll finish for his career at Troy.
Want to say hello to my good friend today, ladies and gentlemen, in Montgomery, Alabama, and Mike, Johnny Coker has been watching our show since we've been on the air. We went on the air in 1998, and we've had a wonderful gathering of people over the years to watch our show.
When you went on in 98, was that you and Robert?
Robert never worked the talk show.
Or did you go on?
No, I went on by myself, and Robert worked with me in football, early stages of football, and of course did a great job.
I thought Robert used to come on and do the show with you sometimes.
He would come sometimes, but not a real lot of times. But then Bud Casey came along, and we moved the show, his show, the Bud Navy show, from 6 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock. We did that for, 8 or 10 years, and really enjoyed him being on our show. And then my show continued from 1998, from 7 to 8:30, and that's where it is stand.
You and Bud were 6 to 7 every morning?
That means I was on the air 2.5 hours every morning. That was pretty tough.
Yeah, I remember I would sometimes come in real late from a big night out, and I'd watch all the, when I was trying to go to sleep in the morning.
Yeah, what's so fun now is Facebook, and you can watch our show pretty much any time.
You can watch it. You can watch the recap every day as well.
Yeah. Did you watch it out in Las Vegas? Did you pick us up out there?
Yeah, one of our big followers is Little Blake Crow from Birmingham.
Little Blake Crow? You mean Little Blake Crow that flies his own airplane?
He watches us from his big
penthouse.
Big tower at South Face Properties, downtown Birmingham. He watches us every morning.
Of course, Blake Crow, one of our all-time favorite people, and of course the son of the great one, Sheryl Crow. You talk about a basketball player that was smooth, Mike. Sheryl Crow was smooth, and very good player.
Nice little dump hook shot.
Oh yeah. Well, he had a great hook shot, and
that's one thing you don't see in basketball. I watch basketball games all the time. You never see the hook shot.
I know it.
You never see anybody shoot off the glass anymore.
Yeah, but Mike, one of the greatest players of all time was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and that's what he shot all the time, was a hook shot. He no way to block it. He's 7'4", and he's got his hands way up here. He could just manhandle people.
I played basketball, growing up all the time with buddies, and any guy that could block my shot or jump. I had to shoot a hook shot.
Oh yeah.
Every time I played Richard Calhoun growing up basketball, I shot hook shots.
Okay, the independent schools, Mike, and they play tomorrow at the Crampton Bowl facility. And I don't know if you've ever been in there for basketball.
I always thought they played at Huntington all those years.
No, they used to, but Crampton Bowl is sort of outbid them now.
We are doing both girls and boys games. Boys
we're doing
at 1:30, girls at 6 p.m.
All right, we're doing boys at 1:30 tomorrow, and we're doing girls at what time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. So we're doing the Pike Liberal Arts girls and the boys. Pike Liberal.
Who coaches the boys and who coaches the girls programs at Pike Liberal Arts?
Well, you know who coaches the boys.
What, Ponder does?
Ponder coaches the boys, and
Robert Hawkins used to coach the girls.
Yeah, but they've got Robert might still help with it, but they've got another coach that does that, and they come on at. They're going to be playing at 6 o'clock. The girls of Pike Liberal Arts. Boys at 1:30 against Success Unlimited out of Birmingham, so that's going to be a heck of a game. Pike Liberal playing well with a 14-10 record, and then the girls. Let's take a look on down here. The girls that league. Trying to find it. Pike Liberal versus Morgan Academy of Selma. They play at 6 o'clock on Wednesday. So all these games will be played at Crampton Bowl facility, and it should be a pretty good one, no question. Other teams in the in that category that are close to us here. Macon East has got a very good team playing against Morgan and the boys on Wednesday. The finals of that tournament will be, semifinals will be on the 14th on Valentine's Day, and then the championship game will be on the 15th at Crampton Bowl. Looking at the 2A boys, Lakeside is in the tournament, 14-6. They're always good against Monroe Academy. Other local teams in our area, in Class 1A girls, you've got Crenshaw Christian playing against Southern Academy. That's at Crampton Bowl. That game will be one of 4 games going on at one time. That's what they do differently, Mike, that nobody else does. They play all these games at one time. Crenshaw boys against Southern Academy again. That game will be in our area, in Abbeville against Sparta, also in boys. Let's see, I was trying to pick up a few more girls and boys games, but that's the state playoffs in the Alabama Independent Schools, and everybody's getting ready. Mike, tell us about Auburn and what their chances are to maybe play for a national championship. What do you think?
Basketball?
Yeah, are they that good?
I mean, they're 21-2, but I mean, they got a long ways to go before, you know.
Well, all right. Let me ask this: wouldn't you think LSU would have?
The key is if they can get a high seed, you want to try to at least be in that number 3 seed. I think that's what they're projected at right now is number 3 or number 4 seed. But I mean, it's just too early to tell. I mean, I think they play Alabama again soon, so that's going to be a.
That game's being played at Auburn, and that game is coming up. Isn't that right?
Is that game tomorrow? Yeah, the game's tomorrow.
And for you Alabama fans, you don't want to watch that because that's when they give away the trophy.
Yeah.
And they have to sing the fight song.
Yeah, of course, Alabama shocked Auburn in the first game and beat them by 20. I don't think that'll happen again. With Herb Jones out for Alabama and a couple other guys injured, they're struggling. They did go on the road and beat Georgia, though, 105-102 this past weekend. The amazing story of basketball is San Diego State's 25-0.
I know it. What makes them so good? Those California teams have always been pretty good.
Yeah. So you got, San Diego State having one of their best seasons ever, and then you got North Carolina, who is 10-13 under Roy Williams. It's hard to believe North Carolina's got a losing record.
I'm telling you what, he's pretty, sharp-looking old man, but I've never really been a big fan of his. I think
I'm not a huge fan either. I think after that scandal with all the textbooks and tutors taking tests and all kinds of stuff, and them getting off and nothing happening, I mean, shoot, any other program in the country would have got hammered for that.
All right,
nothing had happened.
How many people are there, gym seat? About 30,000 or 25,000?
Yeah.
And their biggest rival, Duke, down the road seats 9,000.
22,000, I think.
And they'll fill it up, but right down the street, the team, Duke will put 9,000 in their gym and beat your pants off. They're pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
Do you think it's all coaching, or what do you think makes them so good?
Everybody wants to play for a legend, Mike Krzyzewski's the legend.
What kind of you hear him on TV, and he's got all these shows.
Troy will be playing tomorrow night at home against Louisiana Monroe, so hopefully Troy can bounce back and get a win, get the 10 wins, and then they'll also host Louisiana Lafayette on Saturday as well. So you got 2 more home games this week.
That Lafayette game will all the former players that played at Troy University over the years are invited back to the Trojan Arena.
We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 remaining games in Sunbelt play.
If they won them all, would they make the tournament? I don't believe so. What do you think?
Yeah, they would if they won them all, but I mean, the likelihood of that happening is not very good.
Yeah.
They got 3 more home games and 3 more road games. So maybe they can win all these home games and get to 12 wins, 13 wins, who knows?
Mike, tell us about Troy basketball. What has happened? What has happened? No, tell them what has happened to them. You know.
I mean, they're 9-16, and they've lost several close games. And Moss Day Williams, their top big guy, that 6'9", could block shots, could shoot threes, and then they lost the Leffridge kid out of Texas. He was a freshman that was really playing well. That was 6'7", and
Yeah, he was injured. Is that right?
Lost a lot of height when you lose 6'9", 6'7". And basically just been playing shorthanded all season, you know, just pump breaks and losing a lot of close games. I think they've lost in overtime time twice this year. But Coach Cross is a great coach. I mean, great during interviews, great, you know, talking about his philosophy of, you know, taking the stairs and his mental approach to the game. I mean, he does all kinds of stuff with these players to try to, you know, get them to win. Unfortunately, I just don't think even he probably realized what a tough situation it is to win at Troy and Division I basketball. It's just
Mike, let me
a lot of tough years.
Let's switch over a little bit to the pros. How can Milwaukee be 45-7? Who's on Milwaukee's team that's so good?
Well, I mean, they got the Greek freak, Giannis.
Yeah.
Averages 31 points a game.
And where's he from? Greece?
Greece, yeah.
And he's that dominant a player?
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'11" and can run the point. You know, he's just, you know, great, unbelievable player.
But, I mean, does it surprise you that they're that far ahead of everybody else? The closest to them is 12 losses. That's the Lakers with just 12 losses.
Yeah, I mean, Milwaukee's just built a great program. They hadn't done anything much in the playoffs, so that's going to be the real factor.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to get these girls to school.
All right, thank you so much. And ladies and gentlemen, Mike Amos coming in this morning with a lot of insight. He goes a lot to AL.com. We hope that you'll get out and support Troy baseball. And if you haven't bought your season tickets, you need to go ahead and go by the ticket office. It's probably as valuable as far as good sports entertainment as you'll find anywhere is to go to Troy University. Go to Troy University baseball games. And I bought season tickets there for years and love my position pretty much right behind the batter's box. And a lot of local people buy season tickets. It's great entertainment, great fellowship. You can eat at the ball game, and you'll see a lot of your friends at the ball game. And you can go out and in left field and grill out for a few minutes before the game. And when the game starts, you can come on up and watch the rest of the game. A lot of people watch the game from the left field. They've got the radio broadcast piped in out there, and they got grills going, and they got a fire going on cold days. But baseball at Troy University is a lot of fun, and it looks to me to be a very good season for Coach Mark Smart's team. We'll try to have Coach Smart on our show very soon. I want to mention also as we mentioned, we got basketball galore coming in here. We got the Archer group. John Archer group meets every year at this time, and they'll be in the house on Saturday, and they'll have a reception and party out at the Marriott on Friday for you that would like to go out and see some of those guys, and we appreciate them so much. It's just a lot going on right now with tournament basketball going on at Pike Liberal Arts and at Charles Henderson and at Crenshaw and Brantley and Elba, everywhere around is getting in tournament. And Goshen, of course, and Zion Chapel. A lot of good basketball going on in our area. Hope that you'll drop by and see some of the exciting time. And for you, my good friend Johnny, Johnny Coker, I hope you're doing well this morning. Johnny, I hope to be up there sometime this morning to see you, my friend. And, of course, today is Johnny Coker Day in Troy, Alabama. As per the Today in L.A. show, we self-proclaim today as Johnny Coker Day in Troy, Alabama. One of my dear friends. And, Johnny, I hope you get well very soon. And we love you, my friend. I know you've watched our show for many years and been a great viewer of our show, and makes me feel good to know that you're watching or listening to our show every weekday morning from 7 o'clock to 8:30. Remember, you can watch this show again today at 1:30 till 3 o'clock. Today in L.A., that's Lower Alabama. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bright and early, we've got Max Howell coming in here at 7:30.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only local